All right, let's get right into it. We usually think of self-deception as some kind of moral failing, right? Something we need to fix. But what if I told you it's not a flaw? What if it's actually the default operating system our minds have been running for, well, thousands of years? We're going to take a look at this powerful hidden software that's shaping pretty much everything about your reality.
I mean, this is the big question, isn't it? Why would our own minds, these incredible machines, be so good at fooling themselves? Well, the answer is kind of wild. It's not a bug in our programming. It's a feature. It's a really ancient piece of code, and it was designed for a very, very specific purpose.
Okay, so to really get this, we've got to go back in time, like way back. We're going to look at self-deception not as some modern problem we have to deal with, but as an actual survival tool that helped our ancestors navigate the super complex social world of the tribe. So this slide hits on a brilliant theory from an evolutionary biologist named Robert Trivers. His whole idea was that we evolved to lie to ourselves so that we could become better liars to other people. Think about it. If you're consciously telling a lie, your body totally gives you away. Your voice might crack, you get that spike of stress hormones. But if you can push that lie deep down into your unconscious so you truly believe it, you can sell it with absolute conviction. No tells. It's like the ultimate social camouflage.
But, and this is a big but, here's the catch. That ancient survival software can cause some serious glitches in our modern lives. It's the source code behind things you've probably heard of, like imposter syndrome. That's when you suppress evidence of your own competence. Or on the flip side, the Dunning-Kruger effect, where you inflate it. In both cases, the system is just trying to protect the ego, even if it means you're not seeing reality all that clearly.
So this brings us to a really crucial idea. We can basically operate in two different mental states, almost like two different user interfaces for our brain. One is running that old automatic self-deception program, and the other one, well, it's a much more aware, updated version. Let's put them side by side.
This is a perfect way to see the difference. Let's say you get some tough feedback at work. In that low awareness state, your knee-jerk reaction is pure defense. They're wrong. They're just attacking me. The system is all about protecting your ego. But in a high awareness state, a state of genuine curiosity, the reaction is totally different. It's, okay, wait, is there a useful piece of data in what they just said? You see? The system is looking to optimize itself, not just protect itself. And this difference plays out across the board. Look at the internal monologue. In state A, you're always telling a story where you're the victim or maybe the hero. In state B, you're more like an observer, just noticing thoughts and feelings as they pass by. In a conflict, state A projects blame. You made me so angry. State B takes ownership. I felt a wave of anger when you said that. Even your body feedback changes. State A often leads to just feeling numb until you burn out, while state B is all about interoception. Actually noticing the subtle signals from your body and adjusting as you go.
But before we can just decide to upgrade to that higher awareness state, we have to understand what's keeping the old system running so powerfully in the first place. There's this hidden engine humming away in the background, a part of our psychology known as the shadow.
Yeah, so this idea comes from the legendary psychologist Carl Jung. He defined the shadow as all the parts of ourselves that we just refuse to see. It's the stuff we push down because it doesn't fit with the person we think we are. Our capacity for jealousy, for aggression, for selfishness, it is our ultimate blind spot. And that self-deception system works overtime to keep it hidden from us.
So how does the system keep the shadow hidden? Well, it uses this really clever little trick called projection. The logic is simple but powerful. The less you're aware of a trait like selfishness in yourself, the more you will notice it and fiercely attack it in other people. It's a way of basically offloading your own dark traits onto someone else, which lets you keep feeling like you're one of the good guys.
Okay, so that all sounds pretty intense. How do we actually fix this? How do we stop running on autopilot? Well, we need an upgrade. And the good news is, there are 3 really clear protocols we can use to manually override our default settings and install a much higher level of awareness. These are the 3 core steps to the whole upgrade. It all starts with a super simple pause. Then it moves into an honest, and I mean honest, audit of our own shadow. And it finishes by actively fighting against our brain's natural tendency to just prove itself right. Let's break them down one by one.
The very first protocol is maybe the most powerful, and it literally only takes 2 seconds. That's it. I know, it sounds almost too simple to actually work, but the space you can create in just those 2 little seconds, that's where the entire upgrade begins.
So here's what you do. The moment you feel that emotional trigger,
that rush of anger or that wave of defensiveness, you just stop for 2 seconds. And in that tiny gap, you ask yourself this question. This single question has the power to separate what actually happened, the raw data, from the automatic, deceptive story your brain is instantly spinning to protect your ego.
All right, now for protocol number 2. And this one takes some real guts. I want you to really think about this for a second. What is that one quality in other people that just drives you up the wall? Is it arrogance? Laziness? Maybe selfishness? Get that trait in your mind right now. Now, here's the critical pivot. The shadow audit asks you to make a wild assumption that the trait you despise most in other people is actually a trait that you yourself have, but you've just pushed it into your unconscious. So if you can't stand arrogance in others, the work is to find the places where you are being arrogant. It's this process of owning your shadow that actually reduces the need to project it onto everyone else. And that brings us to our final protocol. And I'm going to give you a heads up. This one is probably going to feel uncomfortable. But as this quote says, that discomfort, that little bit of pain you might feel, that's actually a sign that it's working. That's the feeling of a deeply rooted self-deception starting to dissolve.
You see, our brains are wired for something called confirmation bias. They just love finding evidence that proves we're right. So this protocol is about doing the exact opposite. It's about actively hunting for data that disconfirms your positive beliefs about yourself. You think you're a great listener? Awesome. Go ask a trusted friend to honestly rate your listening skills on a scale of 1 to 10. The whole goal here is to get objective data, not just feedback that strokes your ego.
So what does all this add up to? Well, it's a journey. It's a journey out of the fog of automatic, unconscious deception and into the clear light of awareness. It's really about moving from being a passenger, just run by your old programming, to being the actual pilot of your own mind.
And this right here, this is the ultimate takeaway. Self-deception only has power over you when it's unconscious. The second you become aware of it, the second you could say to yourself, there's that story I'm telling myself again. It's not a deception anymore. It becomes a choice. And being able to choose your response instead of just automatically reacting, that is the ultimate position of power.
So I'll leave you with this. After everything we've just gone through, what is the one automatic, deceptive story that you can maybe become aware of? What's the one story you can stop telling yourself starting today?